Okay, I'm going to start this with who, what, when, where, how, and why. Who am I? I'm a life coach for men. My name is Dennis Procopio. I've been operating under the brand Man Up Life Coaching, conceived in San Diego, now 11 years. Who were you? Presumably a dude between 20 something and 60 something. Pretty wide demographic, but that's who you are. Um, what? What are we here to talk about? We're here to talk about guy stuff. What's guy stuff? It's anything that lands in the topic of conversation here, in the window of what dudes tend to talk about. I feel like I know what dudes want to talk about because I've been doing this for 8 to 12 hours a day, 60, 70 hours a week for 11 years. I might not know much, but I know what's on dudes' minds. Um, when? When are we supposed to address some of the things that come up in life coaching? Now. So my answer to when is always now. When are you going to start changing your diet? When are you going to start changing your patterns of, introverted behavior? Whatever your thing is that's your problem, when equals now. Where? Here. What is here? Here is wherever the hell you are. Right now, you're on a device looking at me with my freaking Princess Leia buns on my head. I haven't rocked this look for a while. I kind of like it. But yeah, wherever the hell you are. If I'm in your ears, this is where it starts. What time zone are you in? What country are you in? I have guys all over the world at this point. Pretty cool. So wherever the hell you are. Who, what, when, where, how. If I could just tell you how in a quick, strategy session or TED talk, I wouldn't have a client retention of 12 to 24 months on average with dudes who have been with me for, no joke, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. True story. So how? It's complicated. And that's probably what we're going to talk about in this video. And why? Why is slippery, dude? Why is the sky blue? Why is water wet? Why are you here? Why? Because, you were gifted or cursed, depending upon how you look at it, with an opportunity to ride on this, bus that we call life. And I think as a dude, you're more interested in how do we take this ride than why are we doing any of this? Because when we're, looking at ourselves in the mirror or under a microscope, that kind of analysis doesn't really lend itself to productivity. And as men, we pride ourselves, our value comes from production, from productivity. And we'll probably talk about that. How long is this video going to go? If you want to know the truth, I don't love making content, but I feel like I have an obligation every once in a while to get on here and to make something current. It's January 27th, 2024. I feel like I have an obligation to make something current that gives a guy researching Man Up Life Coaching or just researching coaches in general a blast of, hey, dude, this is like really what your coach's voice sounds like, what the vibe feels like, what some of the underpinnings philosophically of this particular brand of life coaching are all about. So I don't know. I'm going to guess maybe I go for 15, 20 minutes unless I take a hook a left at Albuquerque and it ends up being 30 minutes. I'm in my studio here, my office, which is in my home, although I still do maintain a physical office in Mission Hills in San Diego, where I got started. I presently live in Yucca Valley, California. I'm lucky enough to have a house that faces the desert and looks basically in the direction of Joshua Tree National Park. I consider my home the house that MULC built, MULC being an acronym for Man Up Life Coaching. And I like to think that I'm walking my own talk. I have a significant other who I love and respect and appreciate, and I'm taking this ride with. My son, Bennett, is 13 years old. He has some disabilities going on. So he has dwarfism. He's autistic, apple of my eye, and a lot of my existence is about being his dad. We have a dog, we have a couple cats, and we have a pretty happy life. My programming, my coaching has evolved over the years. It's sort of dovetails everything I've learned in life, both experientially and academically, with the needs of the community. Men have spoken and I've listened, so I've incorporated a lot of stuff into my coaching that is inspired by guys showing up saying, these are the problems I'm having. Hey, coach, help me fix this. So let's take a beat there. That's who I am. This is what we do. I'm probably breaking a bunch of social media laws because I'm not doing the Mr. Beast thing and like making really excited faces, or I don't have chicks showing you their tits in the background. But if you're going to spend a year to freaking 5 years with me, a coach who has his pedigree and who is legit, these are legit numbers, who has coached for over 10,000 hours, then yeah, you spend an hour a week in dialogue with me, and real talk, this is what it feels like. So, what are some of the things that come up? Well, the guys who I work with tend to be guys who make decent money. Most of them are either making a six-figure salary or close to it, and that's one of the immediate boxes they're trying to check. Some of them make millions, which amazes me. I personally do not make millions. I do all right, but not millions. So some of my guys are either high earners or they're getting there. That comes with its own set of challenges. You think you want money until you have it, and then it becomes a question of, do I have money or does money have me? So that's one of the things we talk about in coaching. Women. Now, caveat, I don't only work with straight men, but I mostly work with straight men. I mostly work with guys who either have a girlfriend or want one, have a wife, or want to parlay girlfriend relationship into marriage, or are in a relationship and still want to be in one, but the one they're in, maybe they're trying to decide if it's working or not. So one of the things we talk about here is relationships, and we go deep into relationships. We go into what the difference is between a male role in a relationship and a female role in a relationship. And I'm putting relationship in quotes. There are tons of relationships out there. There's a whole gender conversation I'm not even messing with. If you sense that, I'm threading the needle in a way that you like between being in a traditional relationship, but also being sensitive to other lifestyles, then this is the right fit for you. If not, we're cool. Go ahead and bounce. Just don't throw shots on your way out the door. In typical male-female relationships where the guy tends to be more of a fixer and the woman tends to be maybe more emotional or empathy driven, you have a lot of communication issues. And so one of the things that we work on in coaching is learning to create a lingua franca, right? Like Esperanto, sort of a a third language, a dialect that borrows from her language and your language. In a best case scenario, she learns to accept that maybe you're someone who retreats when you're upset and to give you space, and you learn to accept she's someone who needs to talk when she's upset, and you learn how to listen according to uh, her standard, what she's looking for. Relationship, I could spend an hour on relationship. I could spend dude, I've spent 11 years on relationship. But as we move on down the line here, one thing guys have on their mind is money. We talk about it, and they're usually high earners. Two, they've usually got 100 problems, and a woman is one of them. So we talk about it. I want to make the case that this is not a red pill, MGTOW, girls are stupid environment. While we definitely support a healthy relationship to your masculine identity, we also lift up the feminine, and we respect it. So we love women here. Like we're, we're very interested in women, and not just the sex part, and not just the how do women accommodate us on our male journeys, but how can we show up in women's lives in a way that makes them feel validated, even as we ask them to do the same for us. What's the next thing that's on people's minds? I guess if you have kids, parenting is definitely on your mind, and actually maybe that's a little bit bigger than just oh yeah, kids. Guys, we have had complicated relationships, most of us, with our dads. That is such a common problem. Men healing the father wound. And there's also men healing the mother wound. That's also a thing. I don't think that one is as obvious, because as dudes, we learn a lot about our male identity from our fathers or our lack thereof. So conversations about being a father involve a lot of, going back into what your ideas are about parenting. And though it might sound a little Freudian, right? Lie on the couch and tell me about your mom and your dad. There's a reason that is a part of every, introspective dialogue aimed at hacking your habits, because you might have picked some of those habits up by imitating somebody who's modeling them. So parenting, it's a thing. I mentioned I'm a dad. I'm 53 years old, and every day I'm still learning. Money, women, kids, parenting. What else is something that's on dudes' mind? Guys are concerned with their legacy, especially as you get older, but just in general. What will my mark have been on the world? What will I have left behind? What's my footprint, my fingerprint? Who was Dennis Procopio, and how did he contribute to, the planet Earth and everything that happens here? Apparently, my legacy is being a life coach for men. That surprises me. I went to college for fine art, and I always thought that I was going to be to use my creativity in a more literal way. So a big part of the journey here is conversations about your legacy. You might be in the lane, know that you're in the lane, coming up short, and need to do some work either on the technical aspects of why you're not doing as well as you could be, or maybe there might be some internal work that's sort of blocking you from being as good as you have the potential to be. You'd really be surprised at how important mindset is. I've always been a fan of combat sports. Did taekwondo as a kid, did some boxing. After that, I'm from Philly. We have a tendency to learn how to box. Pennsylvania, you're going to learn how to wrestle. Later, picked up some BJJ. Um, and but along the way, I've been a fan of combat sports. I think there's a lot, and martial arts. I think there's a lot to learn there, and I love listening to the stories of athletes who, time and time again, stand there holding that strap, uh, giving testimonies about how the person that they ultimately had to defeat was themselves. They had to get the voices out of their head. And if you show me a successful athlete, I'm going to show you a guy with some real solid coaches in his corner. And he's always thanking his entire team. So, yeah, mindset, getting in the right headspace to accept growth and to accept winning and making that your legacy. That's something that we do here. The last thing, I'm keeping an eye on the time. We're at 16 minutes. I don't want to just talk to talk. So the last thing I think that is important to know about this coaching environment is after you remove, your wife, your girlfriend, your kid or kids, your family relations, social relations, because that's an important part of being here, is how you show up socially with other people, money, legacy. If we take all of that off the table, what's left is you. And in coaching, I have a tendency to say, you might be here paying me because you think you know what you don't know and need me to help you to know it. But there's also stuff that you don't know. And one of the weirdest things to discover in coaching is that you don't know that you don't know your own identity. Now, again, at 17 minutes, it's like, wait, what? I don't want to take a religious direction here because I work with guys who are Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, agnostic. I could just go on and on and on and on. The philosophy of Man Up Life coaching is it's less about the sort of religious vehicle that you're taking to get to the critical understanding of your higher identity. And it's more important that you do the work to pull the camera back and understand how much larger your identity is than just this little avatar walking around the matrix trying to check productivity boxes. And if you're a skeptic, you're like, oh boy. And then here's where the guy sells this, hands me the cult pamphlet, and you're not 100% wrong. I mean, there are some things we do here, like we really lean heavily into the importance of meditation. In fact, if I wanted to just really lift the hood and show you what's under the, what's in the engine here, meditation drives this process. One of the best things you can do as a Man Up Life coaching client is to practice inner stillness, whether what's happening in your life is still or whether it's very dynamic. So I don't care if you're sitting still in a field or if you're in the middle of some sort of, chaotic, I don't know, professional convention or, just mergers and acquisitions or court or whatever the heck, riding a motorcycle, whatever it is that you do, practicing inner stillness, learning where your center is and knowing how to basically stand on that sort of spiritual and mental terra firma, regardless of what's happening around you, is a critical aspect of being a man. That's where, the term self-mastery comes from. You're fathering your inner child. You're that monkey on a freaking leash that's, whacking out in your brain and in your heart and in your guts. You're learning how to calm that mofo down. So meditation is an aspect of this journey. Also, recognizing how toxic our language can be toward ourselves. Men are incredibly self-punishing, and necessarily toward others, because you're going to judge the world by the same standard that you judge yourself by. If you are unhappy with your own physicality, you're going to be like, oh, he's kind of fat, or whatever, or yeah, I don't really like fat girls, or you're going to say some like nasty stuff because you're coming from a place of judgment. Once you begin to learn, which again is a part of a longer process here, once you begin to learn how to take yourself down off the cross, so to speak, and to stop the perpetual self-attack and self-sabotage, which is a really challenging process. And most people don't even realize how self-critical they are or how judgmental of others they are. Then, we learn how to replace that with things like forgiveness, love, acceptance. And I always get these knuckle-dragging troglodytes coming through here that are like, what's this shit? This isn't man anything. Like, let's see your abs. How much can you bench? Dude, I've moved weight in a gym. You know what I mean? I'm in that freaking over 1,500 club or whatever it is. That I wasn't a man because I could lift heavy weight. I was strong, but that didn't make me a man. The intention to be the best version of a husband, a father, a citizen of the world that you can be, and showing up as intelligent, compassionate, motivated, humble, and with a very high sense of integrity. That's what makes you a man. And it takes a lot of practice, and that's what we do here. First, we give you the map, and then we practice. So look, 22 minutes in, I think this is a pretty good sampler of what we talk about in men's life coaching. If you're doing research and trying to decide if maybe this is a good culture fit for you, hopefully this motivates you to go to my website, or our website. It's not just me anymore. It's a whole team. manuplifecoaching.com, and push the big red button and follow all the prompts. And then one of us is going to pick up a phone and talk to you about what's going on and see if you're a good fit for our culture. All right. That's it. I'm out. See you on the next one. Take care.